What's up, everybody? 3 into possible here. Joe getting the headwear situated here. You know,
I'm actually not gonna wear
big
it.
variety,
I got
big
too much
variety
hair.
over there.
Yeah, it was Lakers. I had to throw on my
You're
Lakers.
supposed to put it on like how, like Ice Cube did with Boys in the Hood, where your hair come out.
Bro, out the side. It's too much, bro. It's too much.
Yeah,
It's too much, bro. I'm not gonna wear it. All right, let's go.
We'll see how many times Joe changes hats during this episode. Be a running
Got a
counter.
few.
We're at 1 so far. But we got some news to get through. We got the NFL in the playoffs right now. First round is underway as we speak. We are recording January 16th, Sunday. We got the Bucks and
Yes,
the
sir.
Eagles playing right now. Hard to say if the Eagles are actually playing, but we will go through quick NFL stuff. Then we'll hit the NBA. We've got a trade that announced,
Wow.
KD's injury, some big matchups lately. Trade deadline's about, I think, a little less than a month away. So got some teams that need to start doing some figuring out. We'll play a little Do They Belong with a couple teams. Of course, we'll start sick cut, and then we will, end the show as we always do. With love or violence. Let's see how these clowns edited my segments here. Get out of here. All right. So the NFL's regular season.
Let's run it.
Turn my some Clay segments. Get out of here, Devion. All right. So NFL regular season is over. We now have 8 head coaching jobs that are open. It's a lot. A lot of people getting fired. One unexpected one that I will launch into later. And so a lot of the big controversy and news around this right now is with the firings that happened. We only have one black head coach left currently employed in the NFL. So that is 1 out of a current 24 hired head coaches is black. Now, for comparison, the NBA that we
just
all
the way
love
they
here,
like it.
14 out of 30 NBA head coaches are black. So with a little more fair representation, especially in a league, I think the NFL is somewhere around 75% black when it comes to the players. So to have such little representation within head coaching is pretty appalling. I believe there are 3 black GMs, no black owners, at least with majority ownership. So you can kind of see where the problem starts to lie. So, Joe, I'll start with you. Just kind of comments on the current NFL head coaching landscape. Take that wherever you want to take it. But obviously, we've got some openings. Like Brian Flores was just fired from my Dolphins. He will probably be employed again. He's probably the hottest head coaching candidate on the market, which just makes the Dolphins look like geniuses when you fire the hottest head coaching candidate. But, Joe, what were your thoughts?
He's not gonna get rehired. How many black head coaches you know that get fired and get rehired immediately? It just doesn't happen. So he'd be a coordinator or something, but he's not. He's not getting a head coaching job this year. He's
Brian Flores is going to
way. He'll get the interviews. It's not happening. It's not happening. Just like Eric Bieniemy will get the interviews. It's not happening.
3 different teams.
Brian Leftwich will get some interviews. It's not going. Oh, they say that all the time. I mean, come on now. Look at David Culley with the Houston Texans. He got 1 year with no quarterback, a horrible situation. Won 4 games, and they still cut the man loose. It was like, he had absolutely nothing. Had no Deshaun Watson. Had Deshaun Watson rumors all year long for the first 7-8 weeks of the season. And he was still able to win 4 games with a rookie quarterback with nothing gone. So it's just a situation in the NFL where there's not really a pipeline for black coaches, 1. And 2, the owners just don't. It's still that mentality, that old boys network, where they don't believe a black guy can be in charge of their business. And that's what it is. It's a business. You can even look way back when Tony Dungy took over for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of the black coaches got mad at him because he wasn't hiring black coordinators and associate coaches and things like that. The big reason was because how do you look if you the head coach and you start hiring a whole bunch of black guys? You're going to be nervous. Well, if the owner's like, hey, I don't like the way this looks. I don't want all these black people to be in charge of my business. So it's a tough situation. Like Bruce Arians is the only coach I know who actually hires multiple black coordinators. Like that's not going to cut it. Like if you don't have that pipeline of coordinators, you'll never have that chance to be a head coach either.
Devion, I know you're not a huge NFL fan, but you can still kind of comment on the general culture that, I mean, because this is not unique to the NFL, unfortunately. It's
No.
pretty much the same story in almost all major sports leagues. Like we said, the NBA is really the only one that's seemingly giving more black head coaches a chance. But if you really even dive into the NBA, like you kind of see the types of chances that black head coaches are forced to take, and it's still not always the same. But have to give them credit where credit is due. 14 out of 30 that's way better than any other professional league out there. So
yeah, I'll take that.
Definitely on what we thought.
Yeah, I just don't think that they see us as anything besides workers. Honestly, they think they can make money off us when we work, but probably don't think we're smart enough. Well, at least some. I don't know. I'm not gonna go into too much detail because I heard some of the things that go on behind closed doors and some of the stuff where I really think it's happening. But I'll just say they don't think that we're smart enough to run a business. We're not bosses, but we're good enough to make them money. So I'll say that.
Good entertainers,
and if they give more
CEOs.
people chances, you'll see a lot more. Yep, you'll see a lot more Magic Johnsons, and people like that if you actually give them a chance and stuff like that. Because half these coaches and all this in the front office, they don't know what the fuck they doing. I don't care what nobody say. Like they don't know what they're doing.
At all.
Like with the Brooklyn Nets. Like no offense to like Steve Nash. Like how the fuck he was the first person to get that job?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of the commentary earlier, right? Like, yeah, the NBA is doing a better job in giving opportunities, but still, and obviously, like the Brooklyn Nets situation is one situation. You can't say it absolutely should have gone to a black candidate, but the fact that it's just a trend. It's always when it's you get to coach Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. I guess they didn't have Harden at the time, but still KD and Kyrie Irving. We'll take a chance on this unproven white candidate, right?
And it's Brooklyn.
Where Jason Kidd, for example, he got his kind of freak opportunity. It was to coach a Giannis Antetokounmpo that was nowhere near the Giannis that we see right now. Helped Giannis kind of develop a lot of those skills. Now, the jury's still out on if Jason Kidd is actually a good head coach. It's not going very well. He didn't start very well in Dallas. They're starting to play a little better now, but he's had his flaws, but. My issue is more going back to the NFL. It's the length of opportunity that these coaches get. The Dolphins. I'm not going to lie. Yes. I've never been so sick about a head coach firing than when the Dolphins just fired Brian.
That was dumb.
That just pissed me off tonight. One of the few, the only time in my lifetime that I've seen the Dolphins head coaches like personality and good traits on actually see it on the football field. Now, does Brian Flores have his flaws? Yes. He does not know how to hire an offensive staff worth the damn. He's not developed a single offensive lineman. He has had his misses, but he's turned a defense that was terrible into an elite defense that, in some games would score as much as the offense would, right? And, it made me think of Jim Caldwell when he was in Detroit. All he did was put together back-to-back winning seasons for a franchise that fucking
10-6
averages like 4 wins a year. And he's going 10-6. But you didn't just quite get us over the hump. Fired after 3 years, right? Brian Flores, back-to-back winning years. First time the Dolphins had done that since 2002, 2003. Fired after 3 years, even though they won 8 of their last 9 games. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. A coach win 8 of 9 and then get fired. Now they're saying that Brian Flores doesn't have good relationships, and I'm not saying it's not true because he had 4 offensive line coaches in 3 years. He had 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years. He had a lot of turnover on his staff. Chad O'Shea took a lot. He had a lot of people leave for lateral positions. So I'm not saying he's perfect and is easy to work with, but my problem is you went and got a Belichick guy. You know that. That is the Belichick model. They're not just going to say a bunch of nice things to you. They're going to tell you what you need to hear, and when you need to hear it, when you're doing something wrong, and they're probably not going to be overly complimentary when you do something right. that's what you signed up for. So then you bail after 3 years. Like, what are you doing? You brought up David Coley.
And he was 4-2
I don't know
against
what more
the
you could have asked
Patriots.
of the guy.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, since you brought Brian Flores in with the quarterback you drafted for Flores, Tua hasn't lost to the Patriots. Tua is 3-0 against the Patriots as a starter. That's got to be something. Now he's getting Brian Flores got his ass whipped by the Bills, who are kind of the new big dog in town. But at the end of the day, it's just like that's all the least you got was 3 years after that many successes, and that seems to me is the bigger issue in the NFL. Like once these guys, like if you're asking black head coaches to be Mike Tomlin or 15 years in and still hasn't had a losing season, that's ridiculous. Like that's a ridiculous standard to hold everybody else to.
You can't even have a white coach like that. Yeah, he just dope.
Yeah, like that's just special.
Like you can't do nothing about that. It's just dope.
And the thing that really bothers me, I'm going to talk more about it later because you already know I'm choosing violence today. But
I already know.
Brian Flores is now getting kind of like the angry black man stereotype as he's getting kicked out the door. That's what really bothers me. Oh, he can't work with other people. He's angry. He does all these things. Like, come on, man. If you want to go a different direction, just say you want to go a different direction.
The best way to do it.
You don't got to slander the man on his way out.
That is a gladiator sport. Yeah. That's what it never got. That's what always got me with NFL when you're shocked when people are doing violent things. I'm like, it's a fucking gladiator sport. Like, I don't know.
You gotta be violent or you're gonna die on that field.
Most rich people that I know, you hear me? I know most rich people that I know against have the biggest fucking egos in the world. They don't get along with anybody, but they have enough respect to get a deal done. So I'm just like, you have to have a certain type of personality, and you know what I'm saying, and aggression. Honestly, a certain level of aggression to make it that far in life, anyways. So yeah, it's all, and that's the one thing I hate. They always trying to paint like our people as angry black men and angry black women. I'm like, it's a whole bunch of Karens in this bitch too. So like, just say y'all don't like each other.
And if we angry,
you
we
don't
got
like
a reason
him as a person, and that's you heard me. Like, if you just say you fire him because you didn't like him, like
that's all it was.
That's all
At the end of the day, it's not like in Miami they were going to choose. It was not going. They were not going to go forward with both Chris Grier and Brian Flores. Now, unfortunately, in that situation, one black man was getting fired. Right, like Chris Grier, black GM, Brian Flores, black head coach. One was going to have to go, apparently, according to Stephen Ross. And I think that says more about Stephen Ross. Like, you just couldn't handle,
can't have two.
I think the thing of the day, like Miami's starting to make it under Stephen Ross and Chris Grier as the GM. They're starting to have a trend now. They always are slandering their head coach on the way out. I feel like it's going to make it a lot harder to hire somebody to come back in. Like, okay, well, shit,
save face.
You know, I hate Adam Gase, but Adam Gase on his way out. Oh, people didn't like him. Blah 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 blah. All these things. Now that seemed a little more true. Jarvis Landry was pretty outspoken how he didn't like him. Cam Wake, like a bunch of players didn't seem to care for him. But it's not a good look. At some point, you have to own it. Dolphins own it. You didn't like it. You didn't get a new direction. Boom, move on. But let's go to the teams that are actually successful. The teams that seem to be built a little more foundationally sound. We got the playoffs going on. Let's just do real quick a couple Super Bowl picks. We'll let Devion lead it off with all of his Super Bowl expertise. Who you got, Devion?
Shit, I don't know. I ain't been looking at football at all. I wish I could lie and say so. Look, the Rams. I don't fucking know.
Big fan.
Yeah. I'm just gonna watch it for the commercials and the wings.
Wow,
so.
You're that person.
There you go.
And the wings. That's fair. Hey.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's me. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna lie.
All right, Joe. Who you got?
Well, when we started the season, I said I'm gonna take the Bills and I'm taking the Rams. So I'm sticking with it. The Bills, I'm a little confident about the Bills. They got a little shaky towards the end of the season. I was nervous. I'm real nervous about this Rams, though, because Matthew Stafford turned this ball over way too much. Like, man. Yes, they did. Yes, sir. But, if Matthew Stafford's going to keep turning the ball over, I'm worried.
Yeah, so like you, Joe, I picked Rams and Chiefs before the year. I'm going to stick with it. A little nervous about the Rams myself. I still think Stafford will get it figured out, though. I think some of those things were kind of good learning lessons because a lot of those, a couple of those interceptions came targeting Odell down the field, and I want them to try and build that rapport. But yeah, man, all right, enough experiments, Stafford. If it's not there, it's not there. Just keep it moving. You got Cooper Kupp, you got Van Jefferson, you got other weapons there. So come on, make me look smart, Stafford. Make me look smart.
Please.
All right, let's go to the NFL. Let's go to not the NFL, the NBA though. Let's go to the NBA. So we had a big primetime matchup earlier this past week. We had Bucks and Warriors, and it was supposed to be this big bad showdown. I think on Thursday on TNT. And oh Lord, the Bucks were up by 39 points at halftime. 39 at halftime. The Warriors only scored 38 at halftime. So, are you guys reading into this game? Is this like a big sign of what to come? Is this all doom and gloom for the Warriors? The Bucks back, cocky Bucks. Let's go. They're going back to the finals. Kind of, where you guys' heads at with this? Joe, start us off.
No Klay Thompson, no Draymond. I mean, I know Giannis didn't have Drew Holiday, but did Klay play? Okay, no Draymond though.
Yeah, no Draymond.
So I think,
Draymond.
Man,
no Draymond.
I know he didn't have Drew Holiday, but I mean, still at the end of the day, a lot of people don't realize it because they love Giannis because he's so quiet. But the man is low key a cocky guy, and he gonna let you know that was a low key game of, hey man, y'all messing with me. They're like, I'm the truth. I'm the best player in the world right now. A lot of people are not talking about him because they're the 3 seed in the East, but Giannis has been balling all season long. So I don't know why they're being real quiet. He's not 4 seed. I don't know why they've been real quiet on him as MVP because he been balling, man. He making jump shots. He is looking really
top
good.
of my list
so I think
right
this
now.
was just a statement game. Hell yeah. Yeah, that was just a statement game for Giannis. But besides that, it don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
Devion?
I say right now, if I was a Warriors fan, I probably wouldn't be too concerned right now because, but I don't know. I'll say I wouldn't be too concerned because, no Draymond, Klay is coming back, so getting back into the rhythm of things. He didn't shoot too great that game, but I'm not expecting him to go out there and drop 30, 40 points in his first couple games back. So, but what was it? Steph only had 12 points. That was the problem. Now, that had me a little worried. So when the other two are not there, and you see how easy it is to just hone in on Steph and just kind of stop him. And he had I don't remember what his plus minus was, but I know it was terrible. That game was horrible. So, and then Giannis
looked like Russell Westbrook.
Why he was the best player, best player in the league. In my opinion.
No, I mean he was balling.
Yeah, so it's like for the Bucks, I would be extremely happy, but I wouldn't get too cocky. But the Warriors, I wouldn't be extremely mad because of what happened. But if this happens again, when Klay gets a few more games in, Draymond or no Draymond, they need to start pissing their pants because this is one of the people you might have to face in the finals, and they coming. You know what I'm saying? They not gonna be one of those people. You know what I'm saying? They not gonna be one of those people that's just gonna bend over. You know what I'm saying? It's so I don't know. I'm proud of Giannis though. I ain't gonna lie to you. This make him look real good, Mr. Triple Double, huh? Looked real good so game. I ain't gonna lie.
I think there's some commentary that's worthwhile from this game. I'm like both you guys. I'm not gonna overreact one way for the other. But what I do think it means is, one, the Warriors, I expect them to struggle now for a few games. Mm-hmm. They got it because you got to think of a guy that was really big for them, Jordan Poole. He's got to find a whole new role now. He was getting a start next to Steph, and He's been a lot of offense for them. And I think his role will be that sixth man and kind of be the scoring punch off the bench. But he's got to figure out how he fits into all that now. He's got to get used to playing more minutes with Iggy, and less minutes with Steph probably. Like it's new for him. He's got to figure that back out. He's established himself as a good scorer, good catch and shoot guy, like can do a lot of really nice things for the team, but he's got to figure out how to do it in a little bit more limited role. Second, of course, they miss Draymond. Draymond is very important, especially when they're going to play a team like the Bucks, because Draymond's going to be their guy to head the attack on Giannis, right? Like that's who's going to be the one to kind of take Giannis first. So that's important. And then for the Bucks, it just shows me that they think that they're like it's their NBA now. That's what I gathered from the Bucks. They're like, I don't care what seed we are. We got over the hump last year. This is our NBA now. So that's a little like if me as a Heat fan, that's a little intimidating because that's a swagger that the Bucks did not have until they got over that hump last year. So Giannis playing with that confidence, I think, is only going to help the jump shot get better. And again, they did that without Drew Holiday. They did that to Steph without their best perimeter defender. That's fucking impressive. So, they're in fourth right now. I think they're a game or a half a game behind my Heat for third, who are a half a game behind Brooklyn for second, and 2 games behind the Bulls for first. So those 4, and even the Sixers are now kind of creeping up there. So it's getting really interesting in the East. But let's talk about those Nets. KD MRI came back with a sprained MCL. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. We just saw James Harden against OKC get smacked by 20. Is he going to – I mean, do we trust James Harden? I think this is the question. Do we trust James Harden and part-time Kai to keep them in that top 4 area of the East? Because we got all those teams ascending around them. Joe, kind of give me your thoughts first.
Well, first it's going to be full-time Kyrie because they're going to be able to pay them fine. Because there's a little stipulation where if he plays a home game, he gets fined $1,000 for the first game. Then the second game is $3,000, and then the third game is $5,000. So if he keeps doing that, he'll just end up paying $5,000 per game, which is not much when you look at it for Kyrie. It's like $100,000 at the end of the season. Like the Nets will pay that off just to get Kyrie to play.
I think they said they would only potentially do that in the playoffs.
Shit. Kevin Durant is out 4 to 6 weeks. They doing that. I guarantee you that's going to happen. They also said that they weren't going to let Kyrie only play away games. And look at him doing now, playing away games. They're going to let him play. So that's going to be key. But if he doesn't play, this could spiral down real quick because James Harden looking like straight garbage. Like, bro, like he been in the strip clubs 24/7, eating wings and just kicking back. Like, dude, it's been hot buns this season.
He's been terrible, just terrible.
Yeah, this boy got like a major breakup. Somebody died, something that we don't know about. Like, what's going on, bro? Fat suit, Harden, bro. Fat suit James. They need to be worried. Honestly, because like I said, I got faith that James Harden can lead them to the playoffs. But the thing about it is just like with him and the dysfunction, and then them still doing that rhetoric with Kyrie, like, will he play? Will he not play? I think he's gonna play. At this point, they'll have no choice but to play him. Pay that money, keep it moving. If you got that type of if he don't want to get it, pay that money. Because I'm trying to win. I ain't gonna lie to you, that $100,000 that's chump change. You hear me? In the grand scheme, but with that type of dysfunction, and then what's going on with that, and then clearly your best player, and you know what I'm saying, is gone. They need to start worrying. Honestly, they because you already had doubts anyways. KD was the only thing that was keeping everything afloat, like in every aspect of that team. it was KD. Now he's gone.
Yeah.
Now you have a James Harden who does not look like he ain't looked this bad since like his sophomore year. You know what I'm saying? And now you got Kyrie, who I think he'll be in shape, but now you've been talking bad about him the whole season, and I don't gonna play him. I gotta do this, and now you're gonna be like, "Hey, Kyrie, we need you. What's up, bro?" You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole bunch of you gonna be dealing with a whole bunch of egos.
I don't think there's any beef there with Kyrie and the team because I think one thing that really helped that whole situation was KD was on board with Kyrie being, if he's not going to be full time, then he's no time, and I think that helped because I'm sure like those two were talking. He was like, "Look, Kyrie, obviously I want you to play, but like I think in the best interest of the team, like we need everybody that's going to be here all in, and you can't be all in right now. Like still love you off the field, everything, all that, boom, boom, but
Right.
It is what it is for this year." And I think Kyrie was accepted that. Now, he probably didn't like it, but I'm sure he could accept that. And so now it's like, all right, all hands on deck. We need you, even part-time, Kyrie. I think that's going to be fine. I would be worried if I'm the Nets because it's just with the way the East is shaping up, you don't want to be in that 4-5. You really don't want to be in that 4-5 because that's just going to be a dogfight from every freaking round. And James Harden, I've seen a lot of people that I know that are big James Harden fans on social media, and they've taken a lot of victory laps on Russell Westbrook this year. So I blanked out the names and put up stats up there. All right, which player do you want? Now, you want James Harden's statistics. Like, his are a little better than Russ's. But they are very Russell Westbrook-ish this year. Everyone's making fun of Russ's with the crazy, terrible missed shots that he's had. He's shooting a higher percentage from the field than James Harden is. Like, just let that sink in. Mm-hmm. Like, and I'm not defending Russ here. Like, Russ is playing like shit. But, like, Harden's just been worse shooting the rock. He's shooting, like, 32% from three. Yeah. He's shooting 41% from the field. Like, the only thing that's saving him, they're letting him get back to the free throw line a little bit more. Like, that's the only thing that is salvaging his season. He's averaging, I think, 22 points on 41% from the field, 32% from three, 4.5 turnovers to Russ's 4 turnovers. So he's actually turning the ball over at a higher clip per game than Russ. Russ has just played more games. Their assists are pretty close within, like, I guess just
and Russ is in a new system. He's had a couple seasons to figure it out.
Not even a couple seasons. He's got the same fucking system he ran in Houston. It's Steve Nash. It's the same shit. So, Harden really doesn't have an excuse. Like, Russ is at least having to figure out how to play next to LeBron. And, AD's been fucking bogus this year, too. So, it's just the Lakers have been a whole mess themselves. And not that the Nets have had it easy. Like, they've had a lot of role players in and out the lineup. But I don't trust Harden to lead them to keep in that, like, 1, 2, or 3 range. I don't trust him to do that. I think they're going to fall.
One thing,
he showed the other day he couldn't handle the fucking Thunder. Like, I know that they were missing some people on the Nets too, but I'm sorry. All those people on the Thunder would be the same fucking shit as those role players that the Nets have. Like, I'm sorry. SGA is their best player. Harden, you got to be better than him right now. You got to be better than him. Their next best player is maybe Josh Giddey, the rookie point guard, who I like, but he's in his 40th game or some shit when that game. Like, come on, man. Like, Harden's got to be better than that.
And KD's going to come off the injury. He got to go back into it, take some time. And then you got people like Giannis being scary like this. The Bulls, Miami, like everybody else, they just
Jimmy came back on Friday. Bam coming back on Monday. It's about to get scary for them.
Yeah, it's like
dangerous.
KD's the saving grace, but it's just like KD's only going to take them so far. Like I said the other week, he's only going to take them so far in the playoffs. When that second, third player ain't showing up, better get this stuff together with Kyrie and just start, swallow your pride, let him play, and then figure it out next season. But James Harden is useless right now.
Yep.
And, hey, it's no longer, Chris Paul was no longer the problem. It's no longer Westbrook who's the problem.
Can't keep blaming on other people. Eventually,
can't blame everybody else now. So
great point.
Yeah, I'm glad it's happening too because I hate when they talk
let's talk about a
the
trade that did happen though. Let's talk about a trade that did happen. I don't usually compliment what the Knicks do.
Dumb.
They won. They hit this one out the ballpark. They got Cam Reddish for Kevin Knox, who's been an utter failure, and a first-round pick. I mean, Cam Reddish has flashed a lot since he's been in the NBA. So this one was mind-boggling to me. Joe, I'll let you kind of give the first reaction here.
Well, yeah, in my opinion, it's a dumb trade for both teams. Atlanta, you look foolish because what you gave up some excellent talent offensively and defensively for Kevin Knox, like everybody says, has been a disappointment, first-round pick. But then if you do the Knicks, it's not a great move either. I mean, you got R.J. Barrett already there, and he's not progressing like you thought he would. And now you're bringing Cam Reddish in, who last time we saw them play together, they were at Duke. And Will, I'm pretty sure you remember the struggles they had playing next to each other. So I'm not so sure they outgrew that in 3 to 4 years, and they're going to be able to meld and play together. I think it looks good on paper because you see what Joe Burrows and Jamar Chase are doing in the NFL because they had some cohesion from playing in college, but they didn't have no cohesion playing at Duke together, so I just don't see this is going to work. I think they're going to realize that they're competing for each other's job, and it's just going to be the same old, same old.
Devion?
Yeah, you got a point there, buddy. Kudos to the Knicks for pulling the trade off because they're the clear winner of the trade, which I don't know how. Like, I don't know what was said to get that trade to go through. I ain't gonna hold you, but yeah, Knicks got a good player, but they'll fuck it up. So I don't like. He's a really good player too. You would think he would fit into the system, you know what type of player he is, and I got high hopes for him, but they're going to find a way to fuck that up. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know how I can prove it, but I'm just gonna say, watch enough games, and you're gonna see the Knicks just gonna blow it. So, and I don't know what was like Atlanta, like you're already struggling. Like, why would you give him away? Like for that?
Yeah, I don't know why. Why would you give away one of your young wings? I mean,
yeah.
There were some reports that Reddish was not happy with his role, and he was just getting, upset. But like my thing is like then trade away like Gallinari and like maybe Herter or something, and give Cam Reddish more of a role. Like get rid of at least Gallinari because he's older and like he's not a part of your future. Like Cam Reddish could be part of your future.
Yeah,
so like what do you? Oh God! What are you doing? What are you doing, Atlanta? I think Joe. I don't think it's necessarily a bad fit because I don't know that necessarily it was Reddish and Barrett that couldn't play together. You know, there's this guy Zion that was also there. That might have been a little bit where I mean, you have to think about it. This was Cam Reddish coming right out of high school. He'd been the best player on the court probably every single time he stepped onto it. Is now all of a sudden the third best player on his team. Like, I just think that's a hard adjustment. They didn't have a lot of shooting around him that year, so he was like the floor spacer. I think it was a little deeper than just him and Barrett couldn't get together. Barrett seems excited about him joining New York. I think that part will be fine. I am inclined to kind of side with you guys that I think the Knicks probably find a way to screw it up. But I'm very intrigued by a Tom Thibodeau match with Cam Reddish. That might really
I think that's going to help him out a lot.
That could unlock him a little bit.
Because he can play some D.
See,
yeah, absolutely.
Boy.
Yeah. So, maybe you see like how Thibodeau kind of developed Jimmy Butler in Chicago. You know, maybe he can develop some of those same things from Cam Reddish. Who's already got a better jump shot than Jimmy Butler. So, maybe that's a good match for Cam. Hope it works out for him.
And it's crazy because Nate McMillan last season, said that Cam Reddish was comparable to a young Paul George. Now the dude gone. That doesn't make no sense. It's crazy.
Yeah. We gave Nate a lot of credit last year for how he pulled that team together. He hasn't done a very good job this year. It's been rough to watch. Don't don't want that for Nate, but like, come on, man, get it going.
Get away other people, like you said. Just trade away other people to try to get something good. Like, do better package deals. Like,
I'm sorry. There's just no way you couldn't get better than Kevin Knox in a first-round pick.
Like, I don't care how upset he is. No offense, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I know a player is upset,
make it work.
He hasn't done enough in the league to warrant like, when I want to get out, I have to get out. Like,
exactly. Like, I don't care how upset he is. At the end of the day, my job is to make sure the organization is straight. Don't play then. And hurt you gonna hurt yourself, not the organization. You know what I'm saying? We still gonna be straight. We still got ice, you know what I'm saying, ice trade the game. You gonna ruin your career. You know what I'm saying? So I just like, hey bro, play by the, and then I would have packaged the deal. I would have waited close to the deadline or something before, like, man, that was just dumb. Like, did somebody get a Rolex with this deal or something? Like,
because they season over.
Some money, like a nightclub or something. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's over. It's really over now.
All right, well, let's talk about another deal that could or could not happen. Ben Simmons. So the 76ers, we've talked about this a few different times. They're on like a 9-1 in their last 10 game stretch. They just beat the Heat last night. Like they're rolling. They're at the fifth. They're 2.5, I think, behind the Heat for third. So like they could jump up there pretty highly. I mean, do you move them and get the best you can right now, or do you wait and try and see if like maybe a James Harden decides to opt out of his deal at the end of the year? What do you guys kind of think? Should they move him now, or should they wait to see if a bigger fish is available at the end of the year? Joe, give me your take first.
What bigger fish is out there? I mean, now with Damian Lillard going out with some type of abdominal surgery, man, just say you didn't want to play this season and the season's over. Like, bro, the season's over. You don't want to play in Portland. It is what it is. Now that situation is a wrap, I don't see where you could trade Ben Simmons right now this season. It's just going to be one of those situations where you hope he gets a little bit more comfortable going towards the playoffs, and he's like, hey, man, I think I can play with this team now. I'm feeling better about the situation. Besides that, I think Daryl Morey is not going to find that big trade that he wants this season, and he's going to hold on to him because Daryl Morey is stubborn, and he's going to try to make that big splash trade because that's what he always does, even though it never works out. So that's what it's going to continue to be. It's going to suck for the 76ers, but it is what it is.
Devion?
That's kind of hard. With them, man, it's the 76ers, so it's kind of hard for me to think with them. Because I honestly, I probably would, at this point, I'm cool with either option, honestly. I'll probably shop around first to see if I can land any major deals with them. Because he ain't played this season, so who the fuck cares at this point? Obviously, his stock is go down with what team, like whatever teams that already felt about him, the stock's going to go down. A lot of people still will take the risk on him. So I would, I probably would try to shop him around, see if I can land a really, really good deal. And if I couldn't get anything where it was slightly in our favor, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't even have to, at this point, doesn't even have to be an equal trade. It just has to be good enough over the next 3 to 5 years where we can really, really compete. And if I can't get nothing like that, I'll just wait to the end of the season. Like you said, wait to see who's unhappy. Like, hey, we got, look what we doing without Ben Simmons. Imagine what we can do if we got you. So I've tried both ways and just, at this point, it's like, damn, what can they do? Because they probably will have, honestly, what they will have to do is probably wait to the end of the season. Because they're not going to be able to find a trade, honestly, where they're going to feel like it matches up well enough, honestly. So they probably will have to wait to the end of the season. Because they're going to be ridiculous with their trade options.
I mean, maybe you kind of monitor the Celtics and see if they start really faltering and kind of fall out of the playoff or even the play-in. See if you can get Tatum or Jaylen Brown. Maybe you give Sacramento a call about De'Aaron Fox.
And Halliburton.
That one would be a lovely. I would love to see De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
And Embiid
I don't know. Like, there's not a ton of options there. I just don't know, like, who else they think is going to become available in the off season. You know, like, I know Daryl Morey wants it to fucking happen with James Harden. Like, we all know that it's not really a secret. That's who he wants to become available. He probably wants Harden to opt out, use his player option to get out of the contract, and then do a sign and trade with Brooklyn. But I just don't know how you would even want that after watching James Harden this year.
Yeah.
I mean, do you really want to put that on Joel Embiid? I don't know. I don't know that I would. I think that they probably will end up waiting because I don't think that I think their asking price is just going to be too ridiculous for these other teams. And, so that's probably where we're at. Look at Father of the Year over here also, doing a podcast and caring for his child.
Multitasking his ass off.
Yeah.
What a man.
Man, I tried to get it where he went crying, but that didn't work.
Good. All right, so let's move on. We're going to do a little Do They Belong. We got a couple teams, one in the East, one in the West. We were just talking about Philly, so we're going to start there. Philadelphia 76ers, they're in the 5 seed, but the context I kind of want to use here is they are 2.5 games out of first. So are they a contender in the East to you guys? Joe, buy Devion some more time here. What do you think?
Hell no. I know they looking good right now in the regular season, but it's always going to be for me, Joel Embiid's health. I don't have faith. He may not be healthy in 20 games. So you can win as many games as you want. He's not making it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals without missing some games. And that's going to really what's going to hurt them. I just don't think they can be a contender with Joel Embiid being your main focus every single night. It's just too much strain on him. He never got his conditioning all the way up. It's just one of those situations where he's just too big for his body. He's just so big, he's going to end up getting hurt.
Too big and loves to flop too much.
Boy, yes, man.
Oh, my God. Hits the floor way too often.
Boy. No, that hurt. Probably feel them vibrations when he hit the ground.
All right, Devion, what do you think? Are you buying them as a contender in the East or no?
Fuck no. They look good right now with, I think they look good right now because of all the stuff going on with Ben Simmons and they're still finding a way to win. But like we just saw what the Bucks are doing. The Heat are still in number 3 dealing with injuries and people not playing. And look at them. Look at Chicago Bulls. Hell no, bro. It's fun to watch, but when it comes to the playoffs, and then who would they have to play the first round right now? They would have to play with the Bucks if the Steves. No way near.
Yeah, they'd be playing Milwaukee round 1, so most likely they're bounced in the first round.
No way.
If it ended like this today.
It's a wrap.
But think about it like this, though. I think this would be interesting, though. Like, we know KD's out 4 to 6 weeks. What if Philly and Brooklyn ended up in 4 or 5? That would be real. That would be an interesting series because that'd be just strengths versus weaknesses on both sides.
Facts.
Brooklyn has nobody for Joel Embiid. They got nobody for KD. Obviously, I mean, no one really has anybody for KD. But I don't know. That would be a crazy series. I'd love to see it because I'd love to see either one of them eliminated in the first round. It'd be entertaining to me.
I'd be so happy.
Chaos.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean that they're not contenders. But I mean, my issue with it, Joe, is I agree kind of with your take. I just don't trust Joel Embiid to be able to stay in the lineup consistently and battle through a playoffs. But I don't know if that's a fair assumption to say that they're not. Then that makes them not contenders because if he does, that's a tough out for anybody.
Makes them contenders.
Joel Embiid is legitimately one of the best players in the game, and that just makes it even more maddening to me. Why they just didn't take the best deal for Ben Simmons at the beginning of the year, so they could have the continuity with the new piece, whatever that may be.
So dumb.
Waiting till now is just it's also just letting it loom over because if you really think about it, Tyrese Maxey, the step that he's taken this year, he's been fantastic. Like that's been a great jump that not a lot of people seem to be talking about. If they could have just brought in another wing, and now they're talking about they want to package Tobias Harris with Ben Simmons. Like, to me, that just made it seem like they just actually don't want to get a deal done because no one can take both those contracts. Yeah. Like, who could take both those contracts at the same time? Maybe.
And why would you want to give up Tobias Harris?
I have no idea.
Like, why?
Of all the players, so well with Joel Embiid, it makes no sense.
Why would you give him up? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have no faith in that organization.
It's dumb.
Like, none.
All right, let's go to the West. The current 3 seed, the Memphis Grizzlies. They are 4 out of first place. And they have been balling lately. Ja Morant. Joe and I did it last week. We both said, yes, he does deserve to be in the MVP conversation. So, Joe, I know how you feel about Ja. How do you feel about the Grizzlies?
Come on,
are they up there with the Warriors and the Suns?
No, nope, not yet. Nope. They're like it's not happening because it's like Golden State Warriors when they first started, man. That playoff experience means everything. Like, when you look at their roster, who has the most playoff experience on that team? It's Steven Adams, and that's not going to cut it for you going into the playoffs. You're going to have them bumps and bruises learning how to play against those dudes. So it's going to be a struggle. They may get out the first round, but after that,
don't forget they made the playoffs last year,
and they're not going to be ready for that.
Last year, so they all got a little taste.
Come on, bro, that play-in game.
Yeah,
come on,
you're right, Will.
I mean, yeah, they got a little taste, but
no, they made it. They won. They won the play-in. They played the Jazz in the first round.
You're right.
And who did they beat to get there?
It's not the same.
I think you can't take that away from them, though, bro, because they got a taste of it. And now look at what a taste got them this season. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
that's fair. That's fair.
I'm not gonna say that they're like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say they contenders to win a championship, but is it very, very likely that they might knock some people out that we thought were gonna go further? Yep. That's how I see it right now, because those are so that team is just pretty much like once they catch. If they get into catch a hot streak, it's just gonna seem like it's gonna be impossible to beat them, and the only people who can beat them is experience. Whoever has more experience. But even with that, they going through that. If they went against the Suns, I don't see Chris Paul letting them beat them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it depends on like the matchups. It really depends on matchups, but. I just can't see them overtaking like this year's Warriors. Like with Klay coming back, and I know Klay is going to adjust. I can't see them like making it further than them. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
It's kind of weird. Like I think that they are not like NBA champion contenders like that, but to go far in the playoffs. Yeah, they could possibly go far in the playoffs.
So they're the Lakers.
I'm buying. I'm buying in. I'm buying in. I'm at the same point this season.
They're better than the Lakers right now, bro.
That doesn't have to be said. I mean, that doesn't have to be said.
It hurts to say it, though, bro. It hurts. This point. Disappointing.
No, I'm buying in. Last year, this is about the time that I started. Like, I like the way the Suns play, and
fair.
You did say that.
I think I was pretty early on the Suns last year, and I'm starting to get the same kind of. I'm starting to kind of get the same vibes from Memphis. Now, I do agree that matchups could hurt them. Like, I don't like them in a matchup with Utah again. I think Utah is a tough matchup for them, but I'm not worried about Utah really making it out of round one, anyways. So,
not at all.
Yeah, I think you got to make them a contender, and they match up really well with both the Suns and the Warriors. They've already proven that this year. Like their style is like.
No, you're right,
the thing. The two people that are going to be key, obviously for the Warriors, their key guy is obviously Steph, and then Devin Booker for the Suns. They bother them. They bother the fuck out of them.
Desmond Bane ain't no joke.
It's that same at all. Yeah, great defender. He's long. He's kind of their Mikal Bridges, long, lanky, can just be annoying. Steven Adams is annoying protecting the rim. Tyus Jones made a lot of big shots for them against when they played the Warriors recently. He came in. They were, John Morant was out, I think, with some foul trouble with like 3 minutes left, and Tyus Jones just came down, walked up, stepped into a pull-up three, and it was kind of all she wrote after that.
Dylan Brooks isn't even healthy yet.
They got another really good defender. Like, they just got a lot of guys that'll just be pests for those guards of those other top tier teams. Now, if your Lakers figure it out, that's going to be a tough one, I think, for the Grizzlies. I think they would be a tough matchup.
Yeah,
because all those guys that they have that can annoy, like a Devin Booker and a Steph Curry, LeBron's just going to bat them away like a little fly. Just get out of
here. Yeah,
baby.
Get out of here. But they play.
The other people got to figure it out on the Lakers. So
yeah,
we're a long ways away from that. So right now, I am buying the Grizzlies as real contenders. So
because let's just run it like let's say so the Grizzlies right now will play who? The Nuggets. They will beat them. And then
matched up with either the Warriors or the Suns.
Warriors or the Suns.
That'd be a tough one to pick, but I could see them beating either one, and then they'd probably get the other one in the Western Conference Finals if they were to make it. So like I see the path for them right now.
Because those are fast-paced games, like you keep running, gunning, shooting, and the Grizzlies don't have a motor, bro. They do not run out of energy. I don't know who their strength and conditioning coach is, but like,
there's something about Steph and Devin Booker that is just, they're both obviously phenomenal, but there's something about Ja that just seems a little different when it comes to like those gotta have it moments. There's just something there's something I trust. I can't put my finger exactly on it, but there's something I trust a little more about Ja Morant than both those guys in that
last game
moments.
He had against the Lakers. He had 14 points and dominated the whole damn game. Like, it's crazy how he does that. He don't even have to put up big numbers, and you can sit there and watch the game like, damn, this dude is for real.
He's playing every aspect of the game now. Like, we used to those two players really playing one side of the field. And I hate when those people like, well, Steph don't got defense. Ja Morant will hoop you on both ends. Like, he literally
Ja Morant's not like a great defender, but he's a tough defender, and he's gonna make you feel him. Now, you might still get past him, but it's not easy. Like, he's gonna make you work for everything.
It's his athleticism that makes it hard.
Yeah,
like that block you sent us. It's stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Jesus,
he's so athletic. It's just like he might throw your shots off. He might block your shot. You block it. He down the court. First one down the court. So it's just like, that's what I said. It's just like he's involved in every aspect of the game, every play. Like you said, Joe, he does not have to score 40 points for them to win and have a huge impact. But now Steph or D Booker score 12 points, more likely it's affected their whole game. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. And that's why I say it's Chris Paul with the Suns who have to come in to where it'll be like, all right, I can't let them beat me. It's gonna fall on Chris Paul. Or when it comes to the Suns, because D Book is my boy, but last year he kind of disappointed me in those tight situations. He kind of, I was kind of hurt. I ain't gonna lie.
All right, let's move on to some start, sit, cut. So we got one that is going to be some young guards, but we're going to start with the trade deadline edition. A bunch of names that have been floated as potential trade, big name trades. So we're going to start with Sabonis, Ben Simmons, and John Collins. A bunch of guys that are considered fours. Ben Simmons really is a one, but nonetheless, they're all tall, very skilled players. So, Joe, start, sit, cut. Sabonis, Simmons, Collins. What you got?
I'm starting Sabonis. He's the best passer out of all of them, in my opinion. He can pick and pop. You can run the offense in the post. He can create his own shot. The dude is legit. That first year he came in was looking real rocky, but his progression has been excellent. That dude is for real. He's going to be just as good, if not better, than his father. Then I'm going to sit Ben Simmons. I like Ben Simmons, man. I know he's a little shaky right now. He don't have his confidence, but I know he can get to the rack, and I know he can play defense. And the boy can pass the ball too. He legit. I'm cutting John Collins just because John Collins, man, I like you. You versatile, offensive, defensively, but you can't create your own shot. That's my biggest issue. You got a 12-footer every now and then, but you get most of your points from dunks and rebounds, and that's just not going to cut it for me when I got two big men who can pass the ball and create their own shot. So you got to go.
All right. Devian.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I agree with him. Low-key. Sabonis is the best player playing right now. Ben Simmons is really the best player out of all of them, but at least he can be involved with some aspect of the game. You know, he doesn't have a good jump shot, but he can get everybody involved. He can play defense. He can do a whole bunch of other things. But John Collins is just like in my opinion, he's just like a Tyson, what's his name?
Oh, don't do that. Tyson Chandler.
Tyson Chandler?
Yeah, but
he's got a way more developed game.
I'm not saying he doesn't, but that's how he, like, when I think of big men who can't create shots, I just think they can just catch, dunk. He can play a little bit of defense, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I think
Collins
about.
Can shoot the three, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
come on, man.
But it ain't like.
Give him like Blake
point of it is,
at least.
Nah, bro. Like, I'm just saying. I'm not saying y'all wrong about the Blake Griffin thing. I'm just saying that's how I look at those players like that, because he got a 3-pointer, but no 3-pointer. Even if you take no 3-pointer with Ben Simmons, I'm still taking him all day. You know what I'm saying? And if he has a halfway decent jump shot, John Collins is like fun player to watch, but it's just like at that point, you know.
I almost want to sit John Collins just because you said that bullshit, but I'm not going to do it. So
I gotta cut him. He gone. Like, I like him too, but I gotta go.
He gone.
I'm going to start Ben Simmons. I think Ben Simmons is easily the best player of all the three. Sabonis, I like a lot. You guys know I love Sabonis. He does a lot of really good things, but Ben Simmons can defend 1 through 5.
Yes, sir.
He can pass. He can get to the rim, and I will die on this hill that he is not as bad as what Philly is making him look. He's just being misused because they also have Joel Embiid. I think if you put Ben Simmons on a team and treat him like Giannis, you got a freaking monster. You know, where you use him a lot as a screener, let him run in transition and pass and look for people on the break. You know, I don't think he needs to be your primary ball handler bringing the ball to court. I think that's the mistake that the 76ers are making, which I understand why, because you chose him and Embiid. So that's the best way to use them both. But
no choice.
I'm gonna start Simmons, bench Sabonis, and then cut John Collins. Sabonis does a lot of great things and can complement pretty much anybody, which I think is his kind of advantage over Ben Simmons. Is he's not really going to be a fit issue anywhere. But in terms of if I'm trading for one of these guys and I'm, say, the Pelicans, or I'm like, one of these teams at the very bottom of the league, maybe not the Pelicans because they got Zion, but you know what I'm saying, one of these bottom tier teams, and I need to try and get my guy, I would go after Ben Simmons first out of all those three. But
yeah, I do that. That's a fact. And I
forgot about Zion. Shit.
Yeah,
man,
Ben Simmons.
Get healthy, Zion. Come on, man.
Ben Simmons on like Brooklyn instead of James Harden.
That'd be a really good move, I think, for Brooklyn, to be honest.
Yeah, because everybody wins in that situation, because when James Harden's not producing, he's not scoring. Ben Simmons don't got to score. He still go produce. So it's like you're getting a good idea of how he will fit based off James Harden's play this year. And
like, you're probably not maximizing Ben Simmons there, but he still would, if you're trying to if he just wants to win and put the best collection of three really good players together, I think that's a really good fit. Let's go to the young guards. Dejante Murray, who's having a great year quietly in San Antonio. LaMelo Ball and Darius Garland. And now this is right now, not predicting what they're going to end up being in their careers, how they're playing this season, 2021-2022. Joe, I'll let you go first here too.
I gotta think about that one.
Yeah, I'm taking that's easy off the rip. LaMelo Ball starting off facts. Duke, great passer, low key can play some defense. I mean, he's not the greatest defender, but he can lock down when he needs to, and he can shoot the three consistent enough for me to be okay with him taking shots. He play okay defense when he wants to, but then after that, man, this is tough because I like Dejante Murray a lot, but he's so inconsistent with me. He has flashes of games where you're just like, man, this dude could be so good, all-star level. And then next game you see him, you like, where's the Dejante Murray at? Is he even on the team? Like, he just gets ghosted way too many times. So I'm going to have to sit Darius Garland because the way he's been playing with them big men in Cleveland this year, I didn't see this at all. I really didn't see this coming from him at all. I thought he was going to be too small for the NBA. I knew he could put up points, but I just didn't know if he was going to be able to create his own shot in the NBA. But he's been playing well, so I'm gonna sit him, and I'm gonna have to cut Dejante Murray.
Devion?
Oh man, that's kind of hard. LaMelo's easy start. Yeah, damn, Joe, you might be right because I really want to say Murray. I want to sit Murray, but like, he ain't consistent. Like, he might kill you in one game, and the next game it's just like, you're like, damn, I need to rest, but I gotta play, so let me just go out there. You know what I'm saying? And he does put up better stats than Darius. He does put up better stats than him, but it's just like, I know what I'm getting. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, and that's the point. Sometimes, but I know what I'm getting with Darius Garland. Like, every time he goes out there, and their season is kind of reflecting based on, you know, like, who's more consistent in a way, I guess. So I guess I don't want to say that. I really I sit Garland and cut Murray. I really don't want to say that, bro. I really don't, because I think Murray has a higher upside than him, but it's just like he hasn't figured out how to be consistent enough. Like, damn, I didn't want to say that.
Yeah, Murray just doesn't have the jump shot. That's what really holds Murray back of the three. His jump shot just isn't there, where the other two can really shoot it. LaMelo more of a streaky shooter. Garland more just very consistent. So I'm actually going to disagree with you guys. I'm gonna start Garland. I think Garland plays point guard a little better right now than LaMelo. LaMelo's got the flashy plays. LaMelo is easily the most exciting one. But in terms of a point guard that I want on my team that's going to help win games, I think Darius Garland does that a little better than LaMelo does right now. And I love him. I think LaMelo is a future superstar. I think he figures it out.
He's definitely doing better than Colin Sexton was doing.
Takes a little more professional approach. Right? Oh, yeah. And that's what's crazy. They're missing Sexton right now, and Garland still has them, you know.
Man, Sexton's a two.
I think they're sixth now, like out of the playoff.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's what they're going to settle on. I think they already kind of figured that out, and we're working towards building that way. But I mean, because the way I look at it, before the year, if you would have told me you have Garland, you got LaMelo, and then you looked at the rest of the teams, I would have said the Hornets are going to be 15 games better than them. And I really think that, like, obviously, Mobley has been much better than a lot of us thought he would be this quickly, but you can't underrate what Darius Garland's done for them. He shoots a three really well. He seems to know when to pick his spots to try and score and get others involved. And he's really
real good about that.
Really helped maximize that team. And I think having Rubio on the team helped him a lot too. Kind of understanding being a more traditional point guard.
Are you saying LaMelo's more shooting guard to you, or needs to go to be a shooting guard, small forward?
I just think he doesn't have that. He didn't have that veteran to help him understand how to orchestrate an offense yet and maximize his other players. I think LaMelo will understand that, and LaMelo, because LaMelo can just do things that it's just especially you look at it, you just don't even know how he thought to know, know how to
humanly
do that.
Possible.
And so that's eventually going to take him way
last
beyond.
You see all the potential, but he just doesn't know how to make his teammates better yet. Once that clicks in, it's going to be a wrap.
He doesn't know when to
consistently make his teammates better.
Yeah, he just doesn't know when to pick. Like, okay,
exactly.
Here's the time where I tried this crazy BS pass and I whip this way. You know, like he just has to figure all that. He's kind of like looking for those, I think, and not necessarily just reading the defense or reading the game better.
Big
But I'm
baller
obviously going to sit
baby.
LaMelo
That's what we do.
And cut Murray. I like Murray a lot, and I really want to find a way to maybe sit him, but you just can't. Those other two are doing so well this year with, I think fairly common, like very similar supporting casts. So
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, it was a 6 and 7. Yeah, 6 and 7 seed too. So
let's end our show with love or violence. Joe, I'll let you start us off here. Are you in a loving mood today? Are you in a violent mood today? How are you feeling?
No, I'm in a loving mood today. I'm gonna have to give love to the white Mike Vick out there, Josh Allen out there balling. I don't think people need put enough respect on this man's name. Like,
no,
yes, sir. Yes, I did.
Not.
Yes, I did. This dude is out here balling like Lamar Jackson. He's the run game. He the pass game. He do it all. The Bills ain't nothing without Josh Allen, and he's finally learning how to dissect defenses and throw the ball over the top and play the safeties. If he continues to do this. Hey, bro, y'all better watch out. I know a lot of people give Lamar Jackson love, but he's right there with mobility and be able to make big plays, and he has the arm, and he's more accurate. Y'all better watch out. White Michael Vick coming through. Let this boy get some dogs. It's a wrap.
I can't believe this boy saying this. Like, this boy is hilarious. This boy is hilarious.
Big facts.
Oh, man.
White Michael Vick. Unbelievable. All right,
what I said.
Love or violence?
You make me want to go choose violence now. I'm going to stick to my love. I should switch it. I don't want to say this, but I'm going to love Klay Thompson this time.
We know. You're just jinxing him. That's all.
No, man. Like, I actually, out of every player on the Golden State Warriors, that's the only one I like. Literally, he's the only player that I like on that team. I'm happy that, like, he came back. He's obviously not the same Klay, but it looks like, honestly, he did not miss a beat. Like, it's just like he's getting back into the flow of just, like, playing the game consistently. You know what I'm saying? The boy even was dribbling a lot. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, this boy is dribbling a little bit now. I was like, ooh. I ain't gonna say I ain't used to that, but I'm happy for him like that because once he catches back on, and I feel like this time when Klay catches back on, this is gonna be a different level of Klay because he don't tolerate the disrespect. He hated when people talk crazy about him, and now he's just like, all right, now I'm back. Let's see if y'all gonna have that same type of energy. And he's really, like, even when his shots are missing, they still look good. You know what I'm saying? The follow-throughs there, everything is there. It's just once he gets a few games under his belt, that's a scary sight, my man. Because, what is it? Steph
and they didn't put him in that top 75. You know he mad about that.
Yeah, that was the corniest thing in the world, and I know he going to be mad about that. But, yeah, Klay, Klay, but Steph have 12 points. Have no fear, Klay's here. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna happen, bro. So I'm happy about him coming back. Man, I'm telling you, like, don't be surprised. We might see like a little 40, 50-point game from him this season still. He gonna catch fire. Like, he's one of those players. So I'm happy to see him back. I just wish he didn't play for the Warriors. I wish he played for the Lakers instead. We need him. We need you, Klay. We need somebody like you on our team. But I digress.
All right.
We can pray. We can pray, Joe. It ain't gonna ever happen.
It ain't happening.
I think it's very cute that you guys are together and choosing love this week. I'm choosing fucking violence.
We knew you were.
Fuck the Dolphins.
You're a violent man.
Stephen Ross. Sell the team. This is also a great time to bring up Mr. Ricketts, sell the Cubs as well. But yeah, Stephen Ross, sell the fucking team. Fuck you. Had a great thing kind of building down in Miami, and you just decided to blow it up We talked about the racial element to it earlier, the impact now getting rid of a very successful black head coach for communication issues, just finding ways to fire good black head coaches at this point.
Girl breaking up with you, doesn't it? You didn't communicate well with me. Like,
makes no sense, and at some point, Mr. Ross took over the team in 2008. Since then, he inherited Tony Sparano as his coach. I think Tony Sparano lasted 3 years with Ross, who he then brought in Joe Philbin, who lasted 3 years. Then Adam Gase lasted 3 years, and now Brian Flores lasts 3 years. At some point, it's fucking you. It's not all these other people. It's you. Stay the fuck out just stay the fuck out the football side. Count your money. Go donate to your little fucking Michigan. Just stay the fuck up there. The big criticism is he comes in, he flies in on game day, and then he goes and he'll sit there and he'll talk to Chris Greer, and then Chris Greer's obviously like not going to say, yeah, you know what, I actually just really suck at my job. Brian Flores is coaching his ass off, but I just fucking suck. So that's why we haven't been winning games lately. It's my fault. That's not going to fucking happen. Like, yeah, I really thought this guy would work out, but it just doesn't seem like Brian can really develop him. And I don't know. I'm not going to say that Chris Greer is actually like going behind Brian Flores' back. I'm not saying that happened for sure or anything, but all I'm saying is you finally had 2 winning seasons in a row. You hadn't done that in almost 20 years, and then you got rid of the fucking guy that did it. Like, you saw the team that he inherited. They blew up the team, got rid of anybody that was worth a damn. Brian Flores still found a way to win 5 games. Man. Then last year, everyone's like, okay, I think he gets stuff like 8-8, 9-7. He wins 10. Yeah, he wins 10 games when people thought they would maybe get to 500. Now, this year was a little bit disappointing, going 9-8 and missing the playoffs. But in the day, you still had a winning record. You won 8 of your last 9 games, and then you fired him. Fuck you, Stephen Ross. 3 impossible. Signing off.